to UBC Good Morning Uganda Extra, and it's a Monday morning. The weather is quite unfavorable for those with illnesses in relation to coldness, but nonetheless, you always have to show up and get going. Good morning again. We are coming to you live from here at the Broadcast House, Nile Avenue, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. I'm Joram Paul Sonko, and this time round we're having a very serious conversation. And with me in studio, I do have Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono, who is here as we discuss matters Kampala City Council Authority and matters clearing and making sure that the city is where we want it to be. But the bigger question is, at what cost? So surely stick around with us as the conversation kicks off immediately now. Good morning, Robert.
A lovely morning to you, brother. How are you?
I'm well, but the weather is quite unfavorable, I should say. It's really cold.
But at least you have the right remedy for that. That is a hot cup of coffee.
Indeed.
And also Africa, Ugandan coffee. You know, when you talk about, every time we talk about coffee, I feel so bad that actually a number of Ugandans, our domestic consumption of coffee is very low. And what hurts more, even those that take coffee are not taking Ugandan coffee.
Those government at a point wanted to put up a budget so that Ugandans learn how to take coffee. So it clearly shows it was
that
really,
was released only to have some questions from the IGG's office, how it was
on the accountability
misused
matters
and all that. But I think we thank God that this time we're having more rains, and Ugandans should know that the best way is to take Ugandan coffee. Let's promote domestic consumption. Just imagine if you have COVID-24. And this time around, even cargo is not moving. What will happen to our farmers? Where will they sell their coffee if we are not used? And of course, our Excellency has promoted so much value addition so that we don't only sell the beans, but we make this coffee. So every time you go to a supermarket, look out for that Ugandan coffee and buy it. It's the best you can ever take for such weather.
Well, Chirabo, over the weekend, we did have lots of events happening in Uganda. When you look at the events of national interest or public interest, in Busoga, there was the royal wedding, which was the biggest highlight of the weekend. But then in Kampala, there was President Museveni making a tour of the state of the roads in the city of Kampala. Of course, he was with some officials from KCCA and the Ministry of Works. But then, besides that, there was also an interesting event over the weekend, or what you could call something that came out and shocked some of the residents that are based around Gaba Road, Kansanga sides. So speaking of which, you're looking at Kaga, Kansanga, Bunga, Soya, all of them, most were left displaced with an event, or what I could say, something that was actually done by the Kampala City Council Authority officials that demolished property of the rest as a clearing measure of clearing the city, I should call it. What is your take on that? And if you're to take us back a little more to understand the events that transpired, the same.
Well, first I must say it is very unfortunate. Why unfortunate? Because when they demolish homes, when they demolish property of people, there was an apartment about to be complete. When such is demolished, now people are losing money. People are losing businesses. And believe you me, with the high levels of poverty, those are some of the pictures of what happened along the area you've talked about. And we would want this to be avoided, proactiveness, that is not at level of demolition.
Or reactionary.
How do we prevent this from happening?
Before we waste people's money
yes,
like
because
that
demolition is the worst.
Someone has already put up something.
Put up a structure, invested money, people are staying in these houses. There are even claims that they didn't get prior notice from the local leadership.
So that's why it was a shock for most of them.
It was a shock. But even that, you see, sometimes one wonders, these were near the roadside. How did they happen? You know, today we are going to see more such exercise happening. I had the executive director saying we are now trying to clear wetlands because we are having a very big summit that is going to happen in Uganda. I may want to kind of equate it to when we had the days of CHOGM here.
The preparations for 2007.
Yes, when we had CHOGM. Now, we have visitors coming in this country.
They need to see an image.
We are going to be having the 19th Non-Allied Movement, that is NAM, and the group of 77 plus China Third South Summit. And that is why we saw His Excellency on Saturday touring Lords to assess the readiness
of us ahead of the summit.
Ahead of this summit, which is going to be running at Speak Resort Munyonyo from the 15th of January to the 23rd of January. It's a very big event next year. Now, I passed through Machindi, and Sonko, I want to tell you the havoc that has befallen many people with businesses along the road.
Even those who are, having businesses.
These are untold tears. People have lost business. And when we talk about business in Uganda, you may find a Sonko operating a mobile money along the road. But he has we have so many high levels of dependency
on that
Uganda.
Single business.
On that single business. There is health of so many people. There is school fees of so many people.
True.
There is food of so many people. Our levels of dependency are so many. Now, we are having visitors. And African-wise, traditionally, when you have visitors, you must look good. You know, when a family, they are going to have bako, they'll paint the house. You want to look very good. But the biggest question is, how did we have all these mushrooms? How did we have all these existing? And now we feel is the time to set them off just like that. Because all structures in this city, in the 5 divisions, Kampala Capital City Authority has setting up these structures, you seek approval. Some of these roadside kindly seen as illegal businesses, some even have licenses. Some have been paying something, formally by the way, to this institution. Some have been paying something illegally through officials in these institutions, who will tell you, for mwezi umpire of waste. Some have been bribing. Now, at this time is when we are saying they should go. Why aren't we proactive? Those are beds of people. Those are just someone. Why haven't we been proactive?
Robert, also my concern would be, why do we first of all wait for us to get into these situations? Because when you look at restoring the wetlands is what KCCA is actually also focusing on. But also the question is, who gives these people, because I believe before a building is actually set up in the city, there is always a survey that goes on. And we all know it is not right for anyone to actually construct in wetlands. But the question is, who is selling property or land to these people who are settling in there? Because at the end of the day, now those who set up these particular buildings are the ones counting losses. How do we deal with these circumstances before we even get into such situations of people losing lots of money at the expense of the authorities?
Now it's twofold. One, when the abnormal becomes normal, the normal becomes abnormal.
Okay. I love that statement.
This is the problem that our generation, our country is facing. That for so long, we've had so much abnormality
that we've
being
seen
normalized.
Okay.
And it has eroded in the minds of people, both in government and those not in government. I want to tell you, our great parents never went to school. But they knew that you don't construct a house on top of a hill. And even had funny sayings to scare people.
Who are doing the same.
In Uganda, they'll tell you, that there is a ghost on that hill you don't construct. You know? They knew that you don't build in wetlands. You know? They were not lanterns, you must say, but they knew, they had information that when you construct uphill, automatically you're going to remove the vegetation. It's going to affect people in the slopes. That is why we would even say Kampala is made up of 7 hills, and many of those were not occupied.
Not until today.
Wetlands were a no-go area. And it would be very abnormal. How would you even construct?
In a wetland.
Now, over time, today, the rich in this country want to build on hilltops. Look at the magnificent houses on hilltops. Someone clears completely all the vegetation.
Takes us back to the abnormals becoming normalized now.
Every rich person, even Sonko, when you get good money, but you want to have a view of the city. Other rich people are buying lake showers.
To have the lake view.
Lake view. Baya yana. Those that never went to school years back could not risk. But now very normal.
And those who know how it affects the environment are the ones who are continuously doing the same.
How many poor people are staying on the lake or have houses on lake views? If we are to mention them here, though you hear prominent, one time the magnificent house almost needed a boat to move through and all that. Now, even when it comes to these structures we are talking about, because over time it has been normal that someone can actually build in a wetland. It has become normal. You build at night, the house will stand. It has become normal that no, don't you have connections? No way. Don't tell us. It has become normal. It has been normalized that now people know that if you're talking about makeshifts, you know, that there is a loss of what it should be. And it's now very normal that people can have these structures there. Now, you who is going to construct this structure, don't think that many of these people that put these structures don't know that it could be illegal. But because they have seen others having a way out, so they are able to do it. They will demolish this house, but this will stand. You know? And then one will come and tell the other, you didn't know what to do. You didn't know how to talk well. You didn't know. They remove this particular business, and this other business will stay. Go down on some streets during evening hours. You see how enforcement may come rounding on Ebamulekau. You know? These are facts. Go even in Machide where they have been removing certain people. You find that others, they have told them, you just paint, you know, you just extend yours here. And the others have not gotten that opportunity. So, when the abnormal becomes normal, we get to such incidents that people have found all ways out today to ensure that this. So it just comes. These, I would call them now, sacrificial lambs.
Once such circumstances happen. But Robert, when you look at the notice and not noticing anyone before such things happen, do you think the authorities should actually notice or give at least a prior warning before these things happen? And in most cases, do the Ugandans even pay attention if someone comes and warns them about the evictions? For example, if I came today and said, by this time next month, we are coming to evict everyone who is settled in the wetlands, do Ugandans pay attention to the same, or they look at it as a joke? That is why the authorities just decide to surprise them.
Now, time is the best teacher that we all have. Whether Ugandans pay attention or do not pay attention, it is based on previous precedents that have happened. Even in law, you can have a judgment over a precedent. An advocate can quote that, your Lord, your worship, this particular situation happened in some years back, and this was the ruling, sir. Your worship, I'm depending on this. Now, over a time, we've set wrong precedents for Ugandans. I would prefer a notice that, yes, out of courtesy, because at the end of the day, Sonko, we people in government, and when I say we people in government, I'm saying people who are paid by the government of Uganda, whose salaries come from the tax that government collects from Ugandans. We government workers, we people in government, we should never forget that our masters are the people that we serve. We should never forget that they are the people we serve. So it should be out of courtesy that please give them this notice, no matter how, because you know it has far-reaching impacts, not only to the people who we will say that are now culpable here. Give them the notice. However, why certain times we see that even with the notice, people do not adhere to the warnings, is because over time, we've set wrong precedents. The challenge we have, where we have selective justice, selective enforcement. If today you woke up and said, we are going for buildings in Kampala, who were off the plan that they submitted to KCCA, and we are going to go and demolish them, those that their plan indicates that the ground floor is going to be a parking lot, and today the ground floor is totally another shop or something like that. KCCA cannot even demolish or enforce 50% of those buildings. We hosted Kasiyate here, Principal Communications Officer, and he will tell you, you're going to go to a site, people are constructing, and they are guarded. Now, with KCCA and your few enforcement, what much can you do there? So when people look at this, that no, what yumba ebata kuwatako? You're all in the same area. Now you're setting a precedent that someone thinks that you will also be able to maneuver
through the same.
And fun enough, they may make some attempts and they may seem good, that maybe because he knows he went, now this enforcement comes, this time or 3 consecutive periods, he survives. Then luck may run out, maybe when there was a change in the head of enforcement that day. Do you know how many vendors on different areas in Kampala in the evening sell these chips, chicken, you know?
So many.
Almost in every
business is actually
but that is illegal. And there is a time when KCA comes and they are picking their cigarettes, charcoal stoves, they are taking some that. But you said, if it's done today, 2 weeks later, they're all back in business.
Even the following days, not even as fast
There's
as
an incident that was very interesting during lockdown that I experienced, that I was able to notice. Now, those people that sell along, remember we had a curfew.
Yeah,
they had deadline.
7 p.m.
Now,
they're very fast.
The security people or enforcement, this is what they would do. They would drive first round and go through. Then they drive again. Now there comes a civilian attached to them. He goes picking money from these people and takes to
the police officers.
The police officers. So their driving is mukoleza fe tuzichima. Then this one comes.
So once it is done, they can continue with their work.
They can continue with their work. But of course they alert in case another patrol or something can come in to alert them. So where we have these tendencies, it is going to be very, very hard for us to have order in this city. We're having a very big conference. No doubt, January is not very far. Just 2 months to, or a month, even December. And we want to look good. But we should not have season enforcement. Because people should know that this is an illegality. And we should ensure that we enforce to the latter, so that we do not have these surgical operations, if I may use that word, because they are very deterrent to our environment. Why would people lose their source of income because of a summit that is going to run from 15th
to the 24th
to the
25th
to the 25th or
23rd?
23rd. Why? I mean, why? I told you have very high level of dependency in this country. This short period can hinder someone from joining senior one who has been a P7 candidate. Can hinder a child from sitting their final exams because the parent thought they're going to get school fees. I've seen people of mobile monies. I've seen people of few businesses around. Now because this summit is going to be around, it is going to be a speak resort Munyonyo. Now we embark on going in Kabalagala, Kansanga, Bunga. We clear those that constructed in wetlands. We have some that have loans, heavy loans. We should have prevented this from happening.
Okay. But then what is the way forward? Because as much as we look at it in a situation now, it has already happened. We have property demolished, apartments, businesses, rentals, kiosks, name it. We have them abolished. What next? Are we seeing Ugandans going to sue KCCA? Is KCCA going to compensate them in any way? Or are we seeing them defying the odds and getting back into constructing in the same spaces?
Well, some have threatened to sue KCCA. I think the owner of the apartment, the name I've forgotten, he said he's going to sue KCCA over the matter. Whether he does it or he doesn't, but at least he made that. What is important first is we should fight corruption. We're not doing well as far as corruption is concerned. We should first fight corruption, so that we do not have incidents of selectiveness in enforcement because of corruption. I'll give you an example, Sonko. There are countries where guns are sold freely, as long as you're above 18 and you have your documentation. In the US, you can get a weapon, and those countries have high gun violence. In Uganda, we know that even if you came across a bullet in your compound, you run to alert police. Where should because you know it is dangerous. It is a criminal, it is a crime of high impact. You don't just see someone with a gun, like someone has a gun. Leave alone today where, you know, even to get that private weapon licensed, you know, the criteria is so hard. Prove you have 100 million, then this, then that. It is for chosen few who can afford to have that gun. Now, if in other aspects we are that strict, that Sonko will not have any excuse or any example of someone who has successfully run a business for the last 2-3 years in a wetland. I want to thank NEMA. They have been able to push, because those days they had a environment impact assessment in the wetlands. So people would hide under that. But I think it was last year that was ruled out. No more giving impact assessment licensing in wetlands. So if we know that law can be enforced to the light, we don't have corruption, automatically a person will know that once you put it there, you're going to incur losses. But now someone knows that I can have a bypass. You know, it may be bad luck, but even if when that strikes, if I have money, so as long as we have that once you have money, once you have connections, this is what is killing many things in this country.
If you don't lack connections,
if you don't lack connections, if you have the money, somehow on certain things you can bypass them. So this is why you see that people continue to build in wetlands. But also I want to urge our brothers and sisters in the business community. Think twice before you invest. make background searches.
Okay.
You're having a structure of $1 billion. You're investing at whatever level. Maybe you're investing your 2 million, 3 million, 5 million plus amount of money in something. First understand, do some research, because at the end of the day, much as you may be able to thrive and survive, but when finally that chain of syndicate corruption is broken, you pay heavily.
Terrible. Let's first get into a short commercial break. I have some comments here on WhatsApp from some of the viewers who are here. When we return, we go through some of the comments and Chirabo answers some of the same, and then we will call it a day. But for now, stick around to GMU Extra.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
African Airline Association, in conjunction with Uganda Airlines, presents the 55th AFRA Annual General Assembly between the 19th and 21st November 2023 at Speak Resort Hotel, Munyonyo, in the heart of Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. In attendance will be 500 high-profile African and global aviation leaders, 40 airline CEOs making strides to transform aviation for development. The 55th AFRA AGA is proudly powered by
Junko.
Yo.
Wachiko. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. But what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
In this family, we can't agree on anything. We can't even agree on what to watch. All the games to play. Ndowoza Mulabi, we can't even agree on what to eat. At least the one thing for now we can all agree on is the soap to use. He likes that it's big and lasts long. Anti-economy. I like that it keeps my skin smooth. Ate alina echovu. And the children like that. It smells amazing. Everyone is happy. Movit soap comes in 4 fantastic flavors. Movit family soap is truly soap for the whole family.
Movit. All day confidence.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Hello again, good morning, and thank you for sticking around to GMU Extra. It is time for us to get into some of the opinions. Surprisingly though, the other opinion I've seen, someone is sending us a link here of winning 250,000 people. As early as Monday. But anyways, away from that, Chirabo, there's someone
Shortcuts
here
are expensive to life.
Someone here has actually said that when you look at the situation, it's hard sometimes to identify wetland because wetland isn't necessarily a swamp, according to NEMA explanation. And the Ministry of Land gives out titles on wetlands. So it's incompetence. It is incompetence for these two departments not to be working together. He's blaming NEMA and the Ministry of Lands. And he says that the issue would have been solved by NEMA gazetting all the wetlands on a ground map so that a title should be laid on NEMA map to ascertain the fact. He says that UNRA did well by demarcating road reserves that even a layman can now understand the extent of the construction. You didn't put your name though, but thanks for this comment. What is your take on that? He's blaming two government entities here, NEMA and...
I don't speak for Ministry of Lands, but at least the list I know in the last about 5 years, it has even been embarking on a process of cancelling. And Ministry of Lands is no longer issuing any land title in a wetland. So if you have a recent land title in a wetland, you must explain how you got it. As far as I'm concerned and as far as I know. Ministry of Lands says that I think there are people that had these land titles, I think before the amendment of the Land Act, some time back. And they already had those old land titles. But even then, they also had to seek permission or carry out an impact assessment if they are going to have structures on these. And now that was halted by NEMA. And when someone says it is hard to understand a wetland, I go back to what we said earlier, that our great fathers that knew nothing about wetland theories and all that could understand. Okay, where you are, when it rains and you have that, definitely it's in a dry area. You can't have those floods. So I think sometimes, though I would recommend if NEMA can have that map that he talked about, that even if someone is to sell you, you could just cross-check and say, but like a road reserve, someone to sell you a road reserve, you automatically see that. But that hasn't halted Ugandans from placing their businesses in these road reserves.
Okay. So Ugandans continue to be defiant.
Yes.
And well, of course, when you think of it, by the way, it also goes back to you who is actually acquiring this land. Going on to buy land when you vividly are seeing that it's actually wetland, it is also your problem as well. Because
you believe you can maneuver, you can maneuver because you've seen Sinotrax bring
and
Mara.
you feel you can actually fill up the wetland.
Yes.
Well, of course, it does mean we have quite some hard time ahead of us for Ugandans. But in January, we shall be having a summit coming up. So in most cases, you realize the country wants to keep a good image. That's why we want, and you know, in such summits, we shall as well be having rather climate activists who are all about climate change. So finding out that people are actually settled in wetlands is a very big issue. That puts the country's image at risk. But Robert, as we're summing up with our conversation, how do we deal with circumstances like these ones? How does the country prepare itself for such occasions? Because this is not the very first summit we shall host, or this is not the very first time we've hosted a huge number of delegates away from Uganda. But then in most cases you realize that there is a cost to which the taxpayer has to pay at the end of it all, and in most cases the taxpayer ends up losing. We remember the time when Chogam was happening, UNRWA put up land reserves, road reserves and everything. So that means many people lost property or land, businesses because of the same. So when you look at this, it does seem like every time we shall be having such conferences and the like, we are likely to inconvenience people off their zone of comfort. But then how do we prepare ourselves for such events without leaving Ugandans in tears?
I come from a faith where we believe that when you die, prayers cannot take you to heaven.
Okay.
If you didn't give your life to Jesus Christ.
At the very first.
And accepted. And you moved a righteous life. Us praying for you will not make you enter heaven. I'm a born-again Christian. That's what we believe. Now, to relate that to what is happening, we should stop acting or performing surgical operations, and we begin being visionary. And we set laws, we set policies, we have ordinances that we stand by. There would be no cause of panic if we didn't have structures in wetlands. No cause of panic if we didn't have structures in road reserves. Thinking because now Uganda is up there, we are going to have so many international conferences coming up in this country. should it be that for every international conference, of course they come with opportunities, but the layman, some people are going to lose their future, children's destiny is going to be hampered with, people's livelihoods are going to be hampered with, because they found themselves or they positioned themselves to be targets. It goes back first to the institutions. Let's have enforcement. Then to you individuals, this issue of saying, Uganda, wait, you know, Uganda is like that. You know, still shall avoid regrets. Do the right thing. Why do you, for heaven's sake, why do you buy a wetland? And then you put an investment there. Because you believe you corrupt your way. Because you believe you're connected. So at individual level, we must say no to this thinking that we shall have a shortcut. We shall have a way out. To institutions, we must streamline. We must look at these bodies that carry out this enforcement. Clean where need be. Clean where need be. So that people cannot risk. But as long as we are still in this way of selective enforcement, then some bit of bribes here, then connection you're going to enforce, but mind this property belongs to so and so, we shall be in this, and Ugandans will miss out the full joy of hosting such big summits, because it will be covered, because now we're discussing opportunities coming with this summit. We are discussing challenges that the summit has come with to ensure I have a good image.
All right. And of course, our conversation has actually been rotating around the KCCA demolition, where houses were actually demolished without prior notice or warning, according to the residents in Kaga, Kansanga, and Soya. That is Bunga, around Bunga.
And the other evictions that are going on around in the five divisions of Kampala.
The 5 divisions of Kampala. So you get to realize that this is where our conversations have been, looking at how they should actually happen or occur. Should KCCA first warn? Should the demolitions go on through law or whatever happens? But of course, what happens after these demolitions have actually taken place? Are these people compensated or not? Then what happens or what is likely to happen in case such circumstances go on? And then what leads to Ugandans, constructing in these wetlands? Because that is also another big question to ponder on. I've been with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono as we were dissecting all matters here and there. But of course, it's a brand new week, and I'm here to remind you to stay hopeful, positive, as the month of November is also coming to an end. But in relation to what we expect, the rainfalls are highly anticipated to continue till the end of this year. So be prepared for the same. Always carry an extra jacket, sweater or coat, or even an umbrella in case you're leaving home, because at any one time you will see it raining, either in the morning, midday, or in the evening. But as of now, Joram Paul Sonko, we wish you all the best till tomorrow. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
African Airline Association, in conjunction with Uganda Airlines, presents the 55th AFRA Annual General Assembly between the 19th and 21st November 2023 at Speak Resort Hotel, Munyonyo, in the heart of Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. In attendance will be 500 high-profile African and global aviation leaders, 40 airline CEOs making strides to transform aviation for development. The 55th AFRA AGA is proudly powered by
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
In this family, we can't agree on anything.
Martha.
We can't even agree on what to watch. All there is to play.
Martha.
Ndowoza Mulabi, we can't even agree on what to eat. At least the one thing for now we can all agree on is the soap to use. He likes that it's big and lasts long. Anti-economy. I like that it keeps my skin smooth. Ate alina echovu. And the children like that. It smells amazing. Everyone is happy. Movit soap comes in 4 fantastic flavors. Movit family soap is truly soap for the whole family.
Movit. All day confidence.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Junko.
Yo.
What you Check the shopping man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
City market lies in 4 acres of land with a population of about 4,000 registered market vendors who are doing business in this facility. We really appreciate the initiative of the government to come up with this project that is benefiting not only the business community within the market, but the entire community within actually sub-region. When you look at the market previously, the market used to be not like this one. With the market vendors, they used to sell under papyrus reeds. And we used also to ferry our goods, come and sell, then you take it in the stores or elsewhere. But now, due to this infrastructural development, the vendors now, they are able now to sell, cover your goods, leave it there, and you come and get it the next day when it is safe. The safety of our goods and the convenience of doing business has improved greatly. That makes the local community very, very, very happy when they are doing business in the market now. I want to appeal to my fellow vendors and the community of the entire Chile sub-region that we need to embrace and support the government so that they continue also bringing us more development in our region.
Actually, Zono Industrial is one of the presidential initiatives which is brought here in Achule land to skill our youth. The skilling is free of charge. What you really need, you have to be within the age of 18 to 35. They don't need any requirements apart
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Amabala ni Nyosanyi Grace. Ndio mkyale kiba.
My name is Sanyi Grace and I reside in Chitebutula A village, Njala Parish, East Division, in the Central City. We received a 4 million loan from UWEP. We are widowed women striving to support ourselves. Each woman runs her own individual business, which includes activities like bricklaying, operating a retail shop, and in my case, farming.
Junko. Yo. Chick the shopping man. What's your secret?
We got our